Jey Uso finally turned on Roman Reigns. What a day for wrestling fans, what a day for Sami Zayn, what a day for Roman Reigns. Man, it's so awesome that SmackDown just keeps on banging. WWE have something really special with this storyline. Welcome back to the channel again, another banger of SmackDown, but what piqued my interest is that Roman Reigns is actually carrying all three championships, even though logically these two titles shouldn't even exist at this point. So maybe it's just a prop, and once Roman loses the Undisputed Championship, we'll go back to this. I don't know, I'm just speculating. Yeah, it looks cool, but at the end of the day, it kinda makes the World Heavyweight Championship look even less important. Whatever. Great show. Not gonna complain today. The only negative thing I'll say is that AJ Styles is a hypocrite. So he got approached by Scarlett and she was making moves. AJ said this: "I'm married, bitch." Like, AJ, great. Respect that. That's exactly what he should have done. And that's the exact same you should have done a few years ago. I guess AJ's priorities were a little bit different a few years ago. So we'll talk about this SmackDown, but first, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Wrestling GM, where you can actually prove that you can book it better. Wrestling GM is the best wrestling simulation game in the world. The only game where you can be a business owner, TV show writer, and universe creator at the same time. Pick who fights, who becomes champion, manage each wrestler's career, write your own storylines and feuds, and even create your own wrestlers and companies. Find out why 250k plus players continually keep playing Wrestling GM. The game is very deep and the opportunities to play it are endless. It is the perfect mix of creativity and strategy. You can control and create all the outcomes within the game. I also played this game before on my channel. The playlist of Wrestling GM series is in the description below. Wrestling GM is available on all iOS and Android devices, and there's a link to download the game in the description below. Welcome back to Greatness of SmackDown. Let's just jump right into it. The show kicks off with the Bloodline arriving to the arena. Kayla wants an update on Jey Uso. Roman says, "Hey Paul, your girlfriend's here." And Paul Heyman didn't say anything, but you can tell. You can tell there's a lot of sexual energy going on. Paul Heyman is a one-horse. We go live, and it was time for the #1 contenders match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. This was a gauntlet match, and most of the time, maybe all the time, it doesn't make any sense because it goes by very quickly and it's almost as if, you know, the superstars don't have as much health as they have in normal matches. So the first two teams were the Street Profits, Sheamus and Ridge. This was pretty fun, and the Brawling Brutes defeated the Street Profits. The second team were the Good Brothers. Again, it's interesting how they book these matches because all of a sudden everyone becomes just a complete loser, and of course the Brawling Brutes won again. Then it was the LWO, which was actually pretty fun, and that's when it became kinda unpredictable, but the Brawling Brutes won again. It was time for Hit Row. They got immediately eliminated. Hit Row, guys, don't pick up your phones. Do not pick up your phones. And finally, it was Pretty Deadly, and that was kind of surprising, in my opinion, a little bit disappointing, because Pretty Deadly actually won against the Brawling Brutes. Fine, you wanna push them, right? It's a new tag team, I get it, fine. I would have rather seen Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Brawling Brutes though. You know, this is kinda disappointing. They were celebrating and celebrating until Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens got enough. Sami Zayn is confused why Kevin Owens is not as angry as Sami, but he says, "Well, you told me not to get angry, but of course I'm angry." Pretty Deadly made fun of Sami Zayn's appearance, because of course they did, and eventually Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn just said, "Let's beat the shit out of him." That's exactly what they tried to do, but Pretty Deadly ran away. Yeah, not the most interesting thing in the world. The whole match was kind of fun, but again, gauntlet matches don't make any sense. We see the Bloodline backstage and all three WWE World Championships. Heyman asks Roman if you talk to Jey. Reigns says, "I'm the tribal chief now, so he should talk to me." He then demands that Heyman go find him to do so. Okay, there's one question I have for you guys. Maybe I missed an episode of SmackDown, but why is Jey Uso so angry at Paul Heyman? What did Heyman do so wrong? Is it just that manipulation, or there's something that I completely missed? Then we saw Io Sky versus Zelina Vega. Two women are in the Money in the Bank match. It was actually pretty fun, you know. We got Damage Control in danger again. So Bayley tried to help, but eventually cost Io Sky the match. Zelina Vega with the 619, and she takes the W. I think there's a big chance Zelina Vega might just win. Or Io Sky, that's another big possibility. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to turn on on who, Bayley on Io or Io on Bayley. In my honest opinion, Damage Control, the faction, is not doing favors to any of these women. Bayley was once one of the top women in the WWE and now she's just there. Io Sky has a lot more potential than just being in Damage Control. I mean, she's literally a main eventer in the making, so we need to do that. Eventually, they need to break up. Bianca Belair demands to know when the rematch is happening because Charlotte Flair is facing Asuka in 2 weeks, so what is going on right here? Adam says it's being talked about. Well then, Bianca is going to do what Bianca wants to do, which most of the time means beating some ass. We got Grayson Waller effect with Charlotte Flair. He was simping, wooing, all that shit. A lot of talk about 15, 16, 17 world championships. Yeah, Charlotte is going to break that record at some point. And it's weird how in wrestling it's a brag, but it just means you lost that championship so many times. Like if that happens during like a 20-30 year WWE career, I get it, but when 10 of these championship victories happen in like 3 or 4 years, is that even a brag? Is that even a flex? Of course, we saw Bianca Belair. She doesn't understand why Charlotte Flair got the championship match. She criticized Charlotte Flair for leaving, and Bianca is doing it the right way. Charlotte says she's a champion with or without the championship. I would say the exact same thing if I 90% of the time held the championship. I think eventually it's going to be a triple threat match at a pay-per-view. I think once we get Asuka versus Charlotte, we're going to get a disqualification and then it's going to turn into a triple threat match. Probably SummerSlam or Money in the Bank. Paul Heyman apologizes for telling the truth. He apologized for Jimmy super kicking him. He says Jimmy meant to super kick you. And Jey apologized for having to kick Paul Heyman out of the Bloodline. I'll say this, it was actually unpredictable. Like, I had no idea what Jey Uso is going to do or how the storyline is going to progress. Maybe Jimmy is in it. You know, maybe Jimmy is the right-hand man now. Maybe Jey Uso is going to turn on Jimmy and we're going to get Uso versus Uso. Lots of possibilities. Maybe Solo is going to turn on Reigns and then we're going to have these three. And it's really unpredictable and that's why I like the storyline. We got AJ Styles and Michin versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett, which was pretty fun, but like way too early in my opinion. Why are you already doing this match? I guess since it's a mixed tag team match, it doesn't really matter that much. Well, whatever the case may be, I actually like the result because Karrion Kross, you know, was not getting many W's in the WWE. Well, whether he was getting those or not, nobody gave a shit. So him beating AJ Styles is pretty big. Obviously, we got that spot. He says, I'm married, bitch. Karrion Kross and Scarlett actually won, so that's pretty awesome in my opinion. Obviously, I prefer AJ Styles like 1,000 times more. I guess most of us can say that, but I'm just saying, man, you need to build this guy. There's potential, but for whatever reason, it's just not working. Rey Mysterio introduces to the next Money in the Bank holder, Santos Escobar. He talked a lot in Spanish. He's doing it for Rey. He's doing it for his country, for the supporters and all that shit. We see LA Knight. He pushes Rey. We got a brawl, which turned into a match. So, during the whole match, again, people just show that LA Knight appreciation. People love that guy. You know, even though he's a heel and people they like Santos Escobar, right? Just like they like Montez Ford. But they like LA Knight a lot more. Unfortunately, though, LA Knight lost the match, but after the match, he attacked Santos Escobar and left standing tall. I'm going to say it again, LA Knight for Money in the Bank. That's all I want. A lot of people are saying, well, TheGreatOne, how could you say that we, should have more stars in this match? And I'm saying not because I don't want, new stars getting the opportunity or whatever. I actually like that. I love that we don't really have that many, well, none, former WWE champions, but I like the risk. I like the... How do I put this? I like being scared. Putting someone like Brock Lesnar in this match. I don't want Brock to win Money in the Bank. It's a waste of time, right? It's a waste of Money in the Bank. Chance. Opportunity. But it makes me want to watch. Like, I don't want to see this guy win. When I watch wrestling, I like this feeling of feeling stressed. That's when wrestling feels kinda real. That's when you're really invested. I don't know. I may not make a lot of sense right here. It's time for the reveal. Will Jey Uso be in the Bloodline? He says it's either Heyman or himself in the Bloodline, and Roman explains how Heyman is just his wise man. When you're the tribal chief, you're going to have your own wise man. We've been grooming you for 3 years to be the next tribal chief, head of the table. The problem is your brother, not me. We see Jimmy Uso, and he says that Reigns is the real problem. He's just using you. Reigns then talks about how it took 10 years for the Usos to get to WrestleMania, and now they're main eventing WrestleMania, all because of Roman Reigns. Then Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman told Jey that Jimmy was the one that didn't want Jey Uso to be the right-hand man. Jey obviously got angry. He talked a lot of crap to Jimmy about how they've always been compared, how Jimmy always got praised, and he admits he was always competing with Jimmy. But all of this was just an act from Jey. He even thanked Roman how he had countless main events because he stepped out of Jimmy's shadow, I guess. So when it comes to the Bloodline, you're out. Because I'm out too. Absolutely beautiful stuff right here. I loved this moment. Every time we get something with the Bloodline, like that reveal or that big moment that happens mostly at pay-per-views, it's great. It's almost as if you can take all the Bloodline moments, make a top 5-10 WWE moments of the year, and all of them would be Bloodline moments. That's how special, that's how, connected we are to the storyline. Then they super kicked Solo. The Usos were about to leave, but we see Roman Reigns yelling at them. And he got super kicked again. The Bloodline is no more. All we have right now is Roman, Heyman, and Solo. That's basically it. It's all great. I love it. The only question I have is, what match are we getting? I assume a tag team match, right? Great, but a bit of a missed opportunity. I think it's time to defend that championship. They're all bragging about how he's holding that championship for over 1,000 days. But how many times is he defending it a month? Sometimes none. But yes, people, this moment was absolutely beautiful. Gotta love SmackDown. And today we're going to see the return of CM Punk, which is something I'm going to make a video about. I know I'm not making AEW videos at the moment, but I talked about CM Punk for such a long time now, it would be a shame for me not to talk about the actual return, right? Anyway, great SmackDown. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, or I'll kick you, I guess. We'll see. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.